Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. And in this update, we are going to check out Cardano's price chart, and unfortunately, what we expected basically played out in here. If you remember, the last time that we talked about ADA, we were, I think, right around this area, and the idea was that this seems to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down, and even if it's not going to be a 5 wave, and for example, we are going to have a move on the upside, we said be careful. These are probably the subwaves for a corrective movement in ADA, suggesting what? After it's over, we are going to have yet another move on the downside, and as you can see, we got our move down. And in the short term, I think once more we may have the same situation, because if you want to say that we have hit our final low, then okay, off of the lowest low, you need to be able to find a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up. However, here's a question for you. How exactly are you able to find a 5 wave in here? I think this can be, in my opinion at least, an ABC zigzag up, followed by an ABC or maybe a WXY down, doesn't really matter. And this is most likely another ABC on the upside, meaning what? Yep, these might be the subwaves for a WXY structure and not a 5 wave, suggesting, unfortunately, in Cardano, either from the current point or maybe from like a bit higher, we are going to have a move down and once more sweep the lows, which the lowest low in here is about 75.4 cents. Basically, you can expect like another 5 to 7% move on the downside in ADA. And here is the situation. This isn't actually that much of a bad sign from my view. I think we do actually have some not necessarily optimistic signs in terms of what happened in this whole area. What? You see, prior to this move down, the idea in Cardano was that maybe we are having from here 5 up into 1 correction for wave 2, and what's next? Great move up into wave 3, 4, 5. However, in this recent phase down, as you can see, we took all the lows, and now this scenario is not allowed. Like, do not get me wrong, I still fully believe that this is a 5 wave up, and this is most likely an ABC on the downside. Now I'm going to say this is an ABC in form of a running flat, which for our C wave, we should have a 5 wave on the upside, and this is still, in my view, an ABC down. So on a higher degree in Cardano, I'm gonna say probably these are the sub waves for a WXY in form of a double zigzag, suggesting this whole move to about the recent price action is a corrective movement. So question, why is this not necessarily optimistic? Because you see, having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up off of the lowest low and followed by that a correction as structure, basically having a bullish setup is going to take some time. And in the previous videos, the idea was that, well, okay, we are having hopefully a 1, 2, and we don't really need to waste a whole lot of time in here. So you know what, let's just get lucky and get a very strong bounce in order to start a massive wave 3. However, now based on what I'm seeing, I don't really think that I can tell you that anymore. And right now, not only I do think that we are going to have a move down, I also think if we get our final bottom right around maybe these areas, then okay, you need to wait a bit more and see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave followed by a correction down. And this process, well, unfortunately, might end up taking, let's say, 3 to 4 weeks. So please, from this point moving forward in Cardano, expect some boring price action, even when the bottom, the final one, is going to be in. But you know, even before we get that, let's just have another move on the downside, and then we are going to make new updates and see what we are going to do next. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in ADA. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.